Okay, it's live.
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 Thursday again. Here we
Here
are.
we are, another Thursday
I know.
with Jenna and Katie. It is, don't worry, your clocks are not wrong. We are late. Normally, we are on Thursdays at 10, but this Thursday, I had an all hands community meeting with my brokerage that I needed to attend. So Jenna and I did some shifting, and here we are because we want to remain true to our commitment to you, our clients, our community, to touch base every Thursday. Although I'm going to say that next Thursday I'm gone, so we may not be
Almost every Thursday.
but we really want to make sure we are remaining consistent and showing up for you guys and giving you the latest and greatest. So with that, I'm going to pass it over to Jenna. She's going to give us the quick update. I believe that the FedMat. What's up?
Yeah, FedMat yesterday, as expected, they increased the Fed funds another 25 bips. And so what that means to the consumer, and it's really not much as far as like mortgage rates go, right? So like the misconception is when Fed increases rates, people think 30-year fixed mortgages are going up, and that's not the case. When the Fed increases rates, they're increasing the Fed funds rate. That's the rate banks borrow money from each other, right? So they're making it more expensive for banks to source money outside of people having deposits with them and holding assets in their institutions. So you'll notice that your APY, if you have like a high yield savings account, it keeps going up every time the Fed increases rates. You're going to make more money on the assets that you hold with the bank.
Oh.
It also impacts HELOCs, right? Home equity lines of credit. Prime rate goes up, and so home equity lines of credit get more expensive. But we saw an inverse reaction in mortgage-backed securities yesterday. So we saw 25 basis point improvement that equates to a quarter point in the interest rate, not quarter in rate, but quarter to price, so point cost. So a little bit of improvement there. They're pretty flat today, but national average for the 30-year fixed is officially in the fives. And I'm actually quoting, depending on the product, anywhere between like low fives to mid fives on many of my products. So here we are, inflation numbers coming down.
Okay, so real quick, quoting low fives to mid fives. Is that a 30-year fixed? Is that an interest only?
Fixed.
Wow.
No, those are 30-year fixed rate mortgages. Yeah.
That's great.
And we're actually doing something really cool. So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac have this program that if you make 120% of the area median income, right? So you can look up what that median, or you call me, obviously, and I'll tell you. But in areas like, Alameda, Contra Costa, it's $180,000 per year. And they are waiving loan level pricing adjustments. So not all lenders are doing this. We're doing it at guaranteed rate. So realistically, I mean, for your average conforming conventional, like even 5% down, I'm at like 5.5% on that loan.
That's awesome.
And so yeah, I mean, here we are, right? We've been talking about this. Rates are coming down as inflation comes down, and we're here. And I think the real juice, I know we mentioned this last week, but the real juice is going to come from that May, that mid-May report that reports the numbers from April.
From inflation.
Shelter costs should, come down year over year. And that's when I think we're really going to see some improvement to rates.
So along those lines, obviously we've seen some good news that has had a good effect on rates. Like you just said, on my end of things, it's kind of the same story as last week. Inventory is low, much lower than expected. I think I just checked in all of our major markets in the East Bay. Walnut Creek only has 2 new properties that have hit the market. These are single family detached homes. So only 2 new options for buyers in Walnut Creek have hit the market this week. There's 4, I think, in Pleasanton. There's 8 in Danville. 5 in Alamo, and only, I think, Livermore is the most active market where we've got about 11 or 13 new houses that have hit the market. So it's really an interesting time. I mean, we're really watching it week by week. One of the things I'd be curious to ask you about is, again, we know that the media and the noise and the chatter, it plays such a big role. Not only what we see, but what our clients take in from their friends, what everyone's reading. Just in the last week, and Jenna, you literally said it last week that you felt that we have hit the bottom. I literally got an email on Monday from a provider who does data analysis that literally said, we hit the bottom. So you were right on point with that. I received another email today from Keeping Current Matters, which is another real estate kind of news source on the macro level, but literally talking about confidence boosting information and talking about the fact that we're going to see a turnaround in 2023. And it just made me laugh at how quickly the tune has changed. And I mean, some of it I think is that we only know what we know, which is why we look like specifically at the local numbers. But it seems like 2023 came out the gates a little slower on the inventory standpoint than a lot of people expected. And it came out stronger from the mortgage perspective. I talked to many peers, over 50 groups through all of their open houses this weekend. Mm-hmm. There's a story going around. I have a seller that called me about a house in Dublin that somebody priced it extremely low, which is a different strategy. 59 offers.
I was going to say, I know exactly what house you're talking about.
Did you have someone
I had clients who offered on it. God. Yeah. I mean, listen, like, yes, we've hit bottom. We said it last week. I have gotten easily at least 40 applications in the last 2 weeks, just from new clients coming in, being referred to me. I've had another probably 10 clients contact me and say, hey, we want to re-up our pre-approval. We want to get back into the market. So right now I'm just turning and burning pre-approvals like a mad woman.
Yep.
Multiple offers, all of my clients, most of the offers going out, they're in multiple offer situations, and we're really aggressive on terms. I'm closing in 2 weeks to, make it attractive. And, we have to get aggressive with terms again. It's turning into that market. Right. But this turns on a dime, right? Like this turns on a dime. And when we went into 2022 and rates went from 2s into, 3s, 4s, 5s, 6, 7, that turned on a dime. I mean, that happened from December to January. They quickly spiked up. When the market fell off back in June, that happened like that. It fell off a cliff.
For me, I felt it in April. It was like a light switch.
Yeah. And so, so that timeline makes sense, because then you're closing out transactions and finishing out listings. It fell off a cliff. And then we said it, when it turns around, it's going to turn around fast. And that's exactly what we're seeing.
So this is what's really interesting to me, is that I have had multiple conversations with sellers in the last 2 weeks with lots of people who are thinking of selling. And many of them are like waiting, because they want to wait for the market to come back, blah, 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 blah. And I feel like every time I talk to you and everything, I feel like the indicators are like, no, do not wait. I feel like everybody is waiting. And all of a sudden, March and April, we're going to have this influx of inventory, and you're going to wish you would have been the lone wolf on the market in February.
Right. And because then they're going to have so many offers on their property, because the buyers are back. The buyers are back with rates, especially now firmly back in the 5s. That's way more palatable. And
here's a question. Obviously, respecting confidentiality, because I know we talked about this with, we have talked about this with the buyers we were working with in the last year. Many of them were getting their down payments from stock and from, that sort of, that's really what they were relying on. When we were negotiating in multiple offer situations, it was like, oh, I'll just sell more stock and I can put more money down. Mm-hmm. That strategy has really been impacted negatively. A lot of buyers don't have
coming back.
Well, that was going to be my question. Yeah. As you are pre-qualifying and pre-approving buyers, like on the average, again, respecting confidentiality, what does their asset portfolio look like? Where are they getting their down payments?
I mean, every buyer is so different. I work with such a wide range of clients. Some of them are very stock heavy, but usually when they're stock heavy, they also have kind of prepared for a purchase, and so they've liquidated, funds for down payment. Kind of at that more first-time home buyer, starter home type of a scenario. They've got usually checking, savings, and maybe some gift funds. So it's all over the place, but my very stock heavy clients, they plan ahead,
Yeah.
they plan ahead, and they've already planned for down payment and closing costs and kind of set that aside.
Okay.
Stocks got hit. Obviously, we know that pretty substantially last year, but they've rebounded pretty healthily in the last period of time.
Yeah.
I try not to look at my assets, but I do because I want to know where my clients' assets are hovering, right? Because I have similar allocations. So yeah, I think that component of it is not so much a factor anymore.
Okay.
The only hesitation I'm seeing is with the tech layoffs, right?
Yes.
So if you're in tech, and there a lot of people in the Bay Area are, people are concerned, am I going to have a job? Right.
Mm-hmm.
So that's been the hesitation on the tech and the stock component.
I actually saw an article. Oh God, I can't remember who it was. A San Francisco based publication, kind of small, more indie. And they were saying that it was really interesting that the tech layoffs, some of it is the byproduct of kind of like, well, everyone else is doing it, so we should do it. And that there's this trend of like, well, this company laid off people. What do they know that we don't know? Should we be scaling back as well? And it's just really, it was very interesting perspective to see that, they kind of follow each other's lead, but who's the leader and what are they basing all of that on? So I did hear, I can't even think that someone my friend that I had lunch with yesterday, her daughter-in-law, I think got laid off like yesterday. It's happening all over. But you hope it doesn't. You hope that everyone can sustain, but hopefully that will not. That's what some people are saying that they're very concerned about, that's going to affect the market, is, are we going to continue to see layoffs in the tech sector that are going to affect homeownership and, buyer interest? I just feel like we're resilient here in the East Bay. We've got a very healthy relocation. People are always coming and going. I had a great conversation with someone the other day who's relocating from Colorado, looking to move out here. So it's always happening. It's just a little bit, maybe not as much, but it's still there.
Yeah, and the tech companies with the layoffs, do they know something that we don't know? No, they know that 2023 we're gonna have a recession if we're not already in recession, right? And so we'll know in the future when it actually occurred. But there is going to be recession this year, right? And so a lot of these tech companies, they pay their employees heavily with RSU, right? Restricted stock units. And so they know that, this income that they're going to have to, pay these employees, it's going to drop. Stock prices drop in recession. They just do. And so if stock prices drop and they're paying their labor, force with an abundance of stock, they can't afford to do that. So that's why they're laying people off. They're anticipating their stock prices to drop because of recession and prepping for that ahead of time.
Agreed.
So, it's just a symptom of knowing that we'll have recession indicators this year.
Yeah. Okay, so I'm going to switch gears real quick because I know we are a little bit late. We're almost on 15 minutes. We both have other things we need to tend to in the 12 o'clock hour. But like I said, we really wanted to make sure we got on and did a quick check-in with everybody. On a personal note, with my company, with Connect California Homes, we have a quarterly campaign that we run. This is the second one. We're kicking it off. We kicked it off yesterday. It's called Connect to a Cause, where we as a team come together and we try to find a local nonprofit that we can support, that we can promote, that we can learn about, and eventually just kind of share. We did a really fun campaign in October that was related to breast cancer awareness, and we supported a really cool local nonprofit here in the East Bay called Culinary Angels, mostly in the Tri-Valley. And we're doing a lot this month for heart health awareness. So obviously February is kind of more heart health awareness month. Tomorrow is Wear Red Day. I encourage everyone to wear red. Take a peek at us on our social channels. We're going to have a lot of information, just ways to keep yourself healthy. We actually are partnering with the Red Cross, our local Red Cross, and we're going to be offering a couple classes that are at no cost to our community, all about kind of CPR, not CPR certification, but the basics to help you if you're ever in a situation and you need to do something until somebody else arrives. Signs of a stroke. We're going to probably have a yoga class. Just one of the best ways we can take care of our heart is by being healthy and eating good and exercising. So that is a plug for Connect to a Cause. Check out our website to learn more. We've got stuff on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Facebook. You can also go to our website, connectcahomes.com, to learn more. So that's my plug for Connect to a Cause. Anything else to add before we sign off, Jenna?
No, that's great. I love that you're doing that. I know that, we both enjoy philanthropic endeavors as often as possible. So I think that's fantastic.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Everyone have a great week. We will be back in 2 weeks because I will be traveling to Long Beach next week for a company-wide event with my brokerage. It will be really fun. I hope to have a lot to share after that. We have lots of big strategic thinkers and talkers, and we're going to have a lot to learn. So we'll be back in 2 weeks.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Bye.